for the regular public meeting. As you can see, we have a full house.
Let's
So,
applaud that.
we'll start with roll call. We got McKay. Kelly is here. Lamar.
Yes.
David.
Here.
And Rick.
I'm here, sir.
Perfect.
Introduce everybody.
Yeah, so if we could actually take a few moments. Well, actually, let's do the flag salute first, so we can get going. So we'll lead us with that.
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So what you're hoping to accomplish here? What would you like to see happen on the board? And what you're hoping to learn, whatever you like.
Okay. My name's Lamar Wilson. Yes, I'm running today. It's really my first time doing something like this. I am excited to see how things all go about. I'm anxious to learning a lot about what these guys do and the responses from what you all say and stuff like that. So I'm fully on board and willing to get my feet wet.
Lamar, how long have you lived in Roseland?
I've been in Roseland for 13 years.
Good. That's a good one. Thank you. David.
David Augustine, I'm the pastor at Wayside Chapel, up the road here in Roseman. I've been the pastor at that church a pastor at that church for about 5 or 6 years. I just took over as the lead or senior pastor. I've been in Roseman for some 33, 35 years, somewhere around there. Raised my son here. My son lives here, works in this, in the Antelope Valley, in the community. What we're hoping to do is to be able to have some input on just making Roseman a great place to live, and to be able to make things really nice for people. Things like the parks and things of that nature, and be able to have some interaction with people within the community as well. You have any questions?
No, I think that's very man.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, David doesn't need much introduction. He's a figurehead here locally, very well known and respected. I'm glad to have both of you guys. So this is good. Perfect. We're good. We're legal. All right. Next, our public comment period. This is a time for anyone in the public or in the audience to address us for any issue that's not on the agenda. We give you up to about 3 minutes. Remember that we do not have to respond in the moment, but we can always add that to the next month's agenda. So anyone from the public would like to address?
Is there any news on Golden City Plaza?
No. I'm gonna try to make some calls this week, and I'll message you on Facebook. Golden City Plaza is the new shopping center opening catty corner from the high school.
Okay.
And they've had some delays in
Where the
construction.
original right there used to be. Right across.
No, from the other direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Anyone else in the community? Perfect. Okay, we're gonna next.
I guess I do have something.
Hey.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Colby from the VFW. I'm the senior vice commander, also active duty military member on base. I'd like to take a few minutes to share some updates from the Rosemont VFW Post 9657 to highlight a few things that the post is working on to support local veterans, families, students, and the surrounding community. On the morning of July 15th, we hosted our first coffee and donuts gathering at the post. We had 14 veterans and friends join us for coffee and donuts, conversation, and camaraderie. The purpose of this event is simple. It is to create a welcoming place where veterans and members of the community can sit down, meeting one another, share stories, and build stronger connections. Sometimes the best way to support someone is to simply provide a cup of coffee, a friendly conversation, and a place where they feel welcome. Because of the positive turnout, we plan on continuing coffee and donuts as a recurring event. The next gathering will be Wednesday, August 19th at 8 in the morning. We invite the local veterans, military members, families, friends, and community supporters to stop by. You do not need to stay for the entire event. Come enjoy a cup of coffee, grab a donut, and get to know some of the veterans and volunteers that make up our post. We also brought VFW Buddy Poppies to hand out, and to go a little bit farther, and we have the VFW has sponsorships for high school students, middle school students to high school students, and it's the Patriots pen and Voice of Democracy. So just to spread that out into the community for that. Thank you. Colby Beek. Beek. Colby. Beek. Bravo or Beek. Bravo Echo Kilo.
So 14, of those 14, were they mostly new people, or was it a mix of new and returning people?
So we had some members that had come and drifted away or had joined and not really shown up. So it was a good opportunity for them to come and see what we're doing, see our new chain, and how we're shaking things up from the way of the old VFW days. There were no VFW stairs. So
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. Or should we add you to the monthly community partners report?
If possible, yes.
Yeah, we'll see that.
Yes. Thank you.
Kern County Sheriff. Sergeant Maljoy is here, man.
How you guys today?
He's looking kind of skinny this
Hi, good afternoon. Sergeant Maljoy with the Kern County Sheriff's Office. This is my detective, Aaron Price. Real quick, I'll just go over some stats that we had over the past 30 days since the last time we were here. Our deputies have handled over 600, or specifically 622 calls in the past 30 days. And on average, it's about 16-minute response time, which isn't the greatest. However, we cover a massive geographical area, so it does take us quite a while to get out to like 240th and Gaspel, for example. In that 622 incidents, there's been numerous assaults, intimidations, aggravated assaults, kidnappings, abductions, and one fondling case. One of the major things that we saw an uptick of were the simple assaults. We had about 30 of them just in the past 30 days. And the crimes against property has gone up a little bit. We had about 13 vandalisms. We had 9 motor vehicle thefts. We had 5 burglaries, 5, they're classified as other larcenies rather, and 3 theft of motor vehicles. Some other stats, we've had 4 assault with deadly weapons, 13 domestic violence incidents, several resisting arrests, that's them fighting us, and just a handful of child abuse investigations. Most of these assault with deadly weapons were done with blunt objects, only 1 firearm and 1 strangulation, and the rest were personal weapons. We had 19 of those. And property crimes, it's actually down this month, and we're looking at 41 for petty theft, and then for grand theft autos, looks like we're about 7 for a total of like 53 property crimes from the total stats. We've only recovered 1 of 4 stolen vehicles. That's meaning that we recovered 1 that was stolen in Kern County and recovered in Kern County. We've had others that were stolen out of Los Angeles County, and the total value of loss is around $83,000 for that. And in the past 30 days, the deputies have made about 48 arrests with a total of about 127 charges. So some people got several, and obviously I'm not going to go over the full list of charges here. That's pretty much it for the stats. Does anybody from the community have any questions for us?
Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, so without getting into the weeds with it, cell phone data was remotely wiped from one of the phones before it could be placed into a Faraday bag or airplane mode. So we downloaded, there was nothing on it, which was going to leak us to the other suspects. So we're looking at a conviction for at least 1 person, but the case has not been completely adjudicated.
Okay, that's right.
So, not yet. Any other questions?
You guys have any questions?
Yes, sir.
You hear?
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Take care.
Next, we have California Highway Patrol.
Congratulations to you also. For those of you that don't know me, Maria Pagano, commander of the Mojave portion. I just have a couple of things, so I'll try to be quick. I've been working with Joel on some of the traffic complaints, and one of the things that came up was the restriping of the Roseman off-ramp from northbound State Route 14. So that's gonna take place next week. Caltrans is gonna restripe that off-ramp. It's gonna be closed between 10 and 2 p.m. We'll push that out on social media as well, but it will be closed for that time while they do that work, and it will be restriped, so hopefully it makes it a little bit more clear that if you're exiting, you can make that left, the middle lane, you can make the left or the right, and if you're in the far right lane, you're committed going eastbound. So we hope that helps, but thanks for bringing that up, and I know Karen, you owe me some of these stuff too, so I appreciate it. Other than that, I know they touched on auto theft. July is actually Auto Theft Awareness Month. Auto theft across the nation has luckily come down a bit, including California, but still there's a lot of it going on, obviously, like they reported, Sheriff's Department. So it's just a good reminder to lock your cars, don't leave your keys or the key fob in there, making it easier for for those that are gonna steal a car or property in your car. So that's all I have. If you guys have anything on the board here.
You know, one of the things I was surprised to see, I went up to the base when they were redoing the road.
Sure.
That they upped the speed limit to 70 miles an hour going on the base.
Going into? Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't
That was
seen that.
nice.
70, 7-0.
Yeah,
Okay.
7-0.
Wow, that's
I
interesting.
think the statistics of it is it saves you 8 days a year driving to base.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
So when I was 17 years old, I got a very large ticket for speeding off of the base, and I don't know that I was
Is it 70?
exceeding 70 or not.
Anybody have anything?
What day was the ramp closed again?
It's gonna be on Tuesday, July 21st, from 10 to 2 p.m. in the morning. And so they'll do a detour to Avenue A. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's go, Miss Sandy.
Karen Sanders, East Kern representative for Kern County Board of Supervisors, District 2, Supervisor Chris Parlier. Happy to see so many of you here tonight. I have a couple of things that I wanted to bring to your attention. One being the Kern County Public Health Department conducted an enforcement operation, also an education operation for unpermitted food vendors, food trucks. So many of them don't have permits, they set up on the weekends or in the evenings, and it takes away from businesses that are permitted and are doing the right thing. So during this particular operation, they had 21 locations that they contacted with no unpermitted food vending activity, which that's good. 18 cease and desist orders for issued to food vendors operating without the proper health permits. And this is across Kern County, not just in Rosemont, not just in East Kern, but across the county. 4 moderate risk citations issued with the monetary penalty being $1,935 for that violation. 14 low risk citations with the monetary penalty being $510. And then they confiscated property or potentially hazardous food from 11 food vendors, yikes, operating without the proper permits. And just to note, at a Bakersfield location, they found a food vendor to be operating without the proper permits at the intersection of Allen Road and Rosedale Highway. And that vendor had been issued 11 cease and desist orders. Yet they persisted. So anyway, the health department is concerned about the food trucks that pop up every now and again, or pop up all the time. They're not supposed to be there. And then on another note, there will be a household hazardous waste collection event in Tehachapi, which this is the closest one to Rosemont, on the 17th of July, which is tomorrow, and Saturday the 18th, but also the first Saturday of each month at the Mojave Special Waste Facility from 9 to noon. You can also take household hazardous waste there.
Karen, that's every other month.
It is, yes, it is every other month. That is correct. So the next one will be in September. And in the meantime, just general information, the county, of course, is in the budget process for this year. Yes.
As far as food trucks that are not licensed, is there some way that the public would know if they're licensed or not, that they have to be posted?
Actually, on the back of the trailer, so, not the hitch end, but the back end, they should have a, Kern County permit posted.
Okay, so that's what they should be looking for.
That's what you should look for. If you're gonna patronize a food truck, you need to look at the back end of the trailer and see that
Okay.
Kern County food permit is there.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so one of the things about the food trucks, and we've been hot and heavy the last couple of years working with Karen, is when you go to a restaurant and the sales tax goes to Measure K, and that helps support the libraries, it helps support law enforcement, we get money back into the community. Those restaurants are paying workers' comp, they're paying insurance, they have a lot of expenditures, and these food trucks don't. And you take your risk. I'll give you an example. I used to work in LA, and we had this lady, we called the tamale lady. We all bought tamales from her. And then a couple weeks later, health department come around looking for her. And I asked, can I ask why you're looking for her? Oh yeah, she's making big batches of mesa in her bathtub at home. And she got caught. So you never know what you're gonna get off the food trucks. So
It's important to patronize, properly permitted businesses of any kind, actually, but the food trucks especially.
Yeah, thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
Karen, is Karen County doing anything about like the bike takeovers at all in like Bakersfield?
The bike.
Like, oh, they left it. But like the street bike takeovers, the kids on the dirt bikes and they're all over the roads. It's kind of been interesting to see.
They're
Well-
taking over the roads completely, so it's a big, large group of bicyclists, kids. This is more
On-
like downtown Bakersfield.
Like on a bicycle or on a dirt bike?
Both.
E-bikes, bicycles,
Dirt
regular
bikes?
bikes.
Well, that would be something that CHP would tend to, or, local law enforcement, depending on the jurisdiction. So I'm sure if the county is aware of something like that happening, the sheriff's department would certainly respond, and I'm sure CHP would respond also. Have we had this happen in Rosemont?
I'm here. Not too much.
Not too much, or?
We got a couple kids that drive around recklessly, but it's not like.
Well, I do know from talking to other departments in other locations, for instance, Tehachapi Police Department, they have tried to reach out to the community with the community education on e-bikes. And, they hadn't had a lot of response to it, and therefore they're gonna start confiscating
That's kind of what I was
e-bikes.
asking.
So, I mean, you gotta have safety, and I have actually seen children, 10, 11, 12-year-old boys particularly, who are zipping down the street at who knows how fast they're going. I'm not a judge of speed, but it appears that they're going faster than the traffic.
Yeah.
So, anyway, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, of course.
Appreciate you. So Rosamond, Chamber of Commerce is not here. I will say that if anyone's interested in volunteering with the chamber, now is probably the time. My wife is actually the president of the chamber, and she's gone back to work full time, and she's not been putting much effort into it recently. It's probably the time if somebody wanted to volunteer with a local organization, now would be the time. RCSD, Mr. Webb, is there anything, Director Webb?
Yeah, the district there, the treatment plant out there, they have some bids that went out. You have to remove a lot of the sludge out there. We got a couple, we picked a vendor to start moving that sludge out. And that's gonna be probably going on for a couple of years. The reason that's important because the sludge has been out there for over 10 years. And they have to dry it out and move it out. That's a good thing there. The other thing too, we're getting our big tank, we're getting it repainted and some other work done on it, so that's being done. And someone asked me the other day, they called me and asked me about our water supply. I guess periodically people get nervous about water supply. I can assure everyone in this room, everybody in this community, we have one of the best water supplies probably in the state of California. We probably have a 20-year water supply. And that's through effort and planning or whatever. And remember, if you have no water, you have no growth. And we talk about growing our community, public safety, good schools, and reliable municipalities. That's what's going to grow us. But we have good water, and outside of that, everything else is good over at the district, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No one's here from the school district. The Hill Valley Citizens Response to Water, Randy's not here. No library. Congressman Vince Fong's office, Mr. Matt Bauer.
Hello everyone, Matt Bauer, East Kern County Field Rep for Congressman Fong.
Just wanted to highlight a couple exciting updates on our end, federal level. We had one really exciting community project funding request that got included into the recent Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development Appropriations Bill. It's for the Mojave Air and Spaceport. So as I'm sure Jester has explained here many times, demand is super high for tenancy over there, and there's not a whole lot of places to put these tenants. So one solution that our office, in collaboration with the Spaceport, came up with was creating a workforce training and small business support center. So we had $2.5 million allocated to refurbish an existing building that's been pretty dilapidated for a while now, and this is going to help support startups and workforce training to help kind of alleviate the capacity issues there in Spaceport. Additionally, this week the 21st Century Road and Housing Act got passed into law, which is going to help increase housing supply hopefully throughout the entire country. So specifically for rural communities, it's going to be very, very beneficial in modernizing the USDA rural housing program. It's also going to allow more opportunities for community banks to expand their mortgage options for first-time home buyers. Last thing I want to highlight is the Water Resources Development Act, passed out of committee unanimously yesterday. Two really important things that we have included in there. One is a direction for the United States Army Corps of Engineers to incorporate airborne snow observatory flights into their water control manuals. So using primarily helicopters to visually measure with equipment the snowpack, and that gives a much better reading for water readouts in real time, and then projections throughout the future as well. And then additionally, there's another directive for the Army Corps of Engineers to gives them more authorities to proactively assess wildfire danger and help work more cohesively with local authorities to prevent wildfires before they happen, specifically for projects administered by the Army Corps, which out here is mainly dams and water reservoirs. That's all I have. Any questions?
No, I think you're good. Hey, we're gonna go out of order. Next we have new business, but first we would actually like to have our guest speakers.
We got visual aids here.
We feel the privilege of having a nice conversation with them last week regarding updates to the facility. And it's very exciting, and I want to welcome them to the RMAC meeting. And thank you for making the trip to the hot desert.
So, Karen and RMAC, thank you for having us again. I'm Eric. This is David. You're not going to hear a lot from me. I was engaged to do community and stakeholder engagement for the racetrack, and we're really here as the first of many conversations over a period of the next several years. You're going to be sick of hearing from us on we really, on behalf of ownership, we're very excited to be here. Ownership is excited with the upgrades and updates to the track that David's going to be talking about, and we just want to engage with the community. This is going to be a partnership with the community, and we really want to hear from the Westmont community of what your needs are and how we can be good neighbors, and how we can be a effective part of the community and collaborator in making your community even better. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to David. He can talk about the raceway, the new ownership, kind of what the vision is, and again, the most important part is really a back and forth and a dialogue and getting your questions and being able to start building that relationship.
Right, so I'm David Jordan, and I am in charge of all the development, renovation, rehab out at Willow Springs. I've been at real estate development for 30 plus years. I've had my own company for the last 2 decades. I was brought in actually almost to the day, a year ago, from the group that bought Willow Springs, mainly with my renovation experience. And so, I know you've been asking to have us out here, and I appreciate your patience. I don't like to waste people's time, and I've been trying to get my arms around this 660-acre beast that's out there. It's a great track. It's really amazing. I think there's very much an objective to bring it back to its former glory and to build it up even beyond where it was in its heyday. So over the last year, I've been trying to figure out what all that means and how we go about that. Also started to do some upgrades because the place has been pretty tired over the last 10, 15 years. The safety issues, the cars are different nowadays and everything's just so much smarter. So we spent a lot better part of the last year also looking at how to improve safety at the track. And we started with one of the tracks, the streets track. So that was the first part. We fixed up a few buildings just to make the whole experience there better. The next phase, and I'll get into kind of the grand picture because I'm sure you've all heard about it, like news and all. So right now we're working to renovate a building to create a clubhouse. We'll be going in for permit at the end of August. After that, we're also going to build a garage storage building to be able to put cars out there because there's no storage right now. And then the other big item that I'm working on is the Big Willow racetrack, the very famous track, and redoing that whole track. And that'll all be going into the fall. And this fall for permit, all of it would be under construction in 2027. We have a guy, Alex Wertz, very famous. I don't know cars and I don't know tracks. I just know how to coordinate. But Alex Wertz is a former F1 driver. He's a very famous track designer, and he's been leading the track design here. He's from Europe. He's Austrian, and it's pretty cool. You can kind of see a little bit of what we're doing there. But it's fascinating what he has going. And a lot of it is, again, just safety, having better runouts, better pit lanes, safety for cars coming off so people don't get injured, and just making sure that, like, using today's technology for barriers. So that would be pretty much 2027. We are working with Roseman Water District to get water out to the property because the well water is not sufficient to even operate as we are, and to improve the electric grid that's out there as well. So that's another piece of infrastructure that you guys will be hearing about over the next year. Big picture, I think everybody's heard it. There's rumors, there's a newspaper article. I think the economics for these tracks to work as they've done around the country is to have a public and private side. So the private side I'll touch on is more of a country club for very wealthy people that want to race cars. That is, it's really necessary to make the economics work. So part of the clubhouse is for them. Some of the garage storage, not this first storage building, but in the future would be to help store their cars. Still think it's a very neat thing, but I want to assure everybody that the public side of the track is always going to remain open, and it's a big part of the business plan, and that's why we're putting so much money into the track. I don't think we're ever going to get to, I mean, you never say never, but I don't think we'll ever get to like an F1, NASCAR, IndyCar level. Those people are fairly locked in at different tracks around the country and around the world. But there's a whole tier below that we can bring back to Big Willow, or to Willow Springs, excuse me, and really make I think a great economic boost out to Roseman and bring the track back to what it used to be. So bigger picture, which will be down the road, we'll be looking at how do we further develop the plan to bring more of the country club side, but also how to build up the infrastructure for the track to handle bigger events. I don't have much detail on that. That's what I've been working on, and I think I will be coming back to you, I'll say right 6 months from now with a little better idea of where we're going on that. I'm missing her.
Events.
Oh, yes, one, it may have been announced, you may have seen it. Goodwood, which is a very famous event, festival in England, headed by the Duke of somebody, Duke of Edinburgh. He was out here, and so they're going to bring Goodwood to Willow Springs in 2028. So that'll be a very big event. It's pretty cool. If you're interested, you can look up Goodwood. It's really neat. So they're going to do something similar here.
Goodwood.
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 Yes. And that'll be like 2028. There's a lot to plan, and we got to get through all that infrastructure, make the track functional before we go. So, I'm working with Karen, working with the planning department, and hopefully be working with you all. I've done a lot of development. I do very much believe in a dialogue with the community. You all live out here. You see things that we don't. I'm down in LA, and so I value your input. Just trying to implement it. Can't promise we'll implement everything, but I'd like to hear it and use it to get some really good ideas when we work together with the community. Questions? Yes.
One comment I have, well, this looks really good. I think one of the things you have to think about, a lot of the folks in the community, they don't think this is about them.
Yes.
Because they see the Porsches, they see the fast cars go out
Racing
here,
out there.
they see the $1 million people go out here.
Yeah.
And the bad part about it, that's only a part of it, like you said, but everyone seems to think it's about the wealthy folks. So I don't know how your website's structured out, but let them know that this is going to include them, because one of the big problems we have, if people don't think they're included, they're not going to give me any attention. And when that becomes real bad, then you come back to us asking us to support something that the community doesn't have an idea about. So we immediately get a disconnect on that.
I think that's why I'm here.
Yes.
And I did go into specifics about my career, but I've worked on a lot of major projects in Southern California, and my whole mission and those developers who hire me, the only way that I will go onto these projects is if they buy into my vision and mission is to include the public in the projects. And so, some ideas, we've started to talk about community, some community ideas of what I might be able to implement. I was listening to the gentleman from VFW. I know we've got in November, we have Veterans Day coming up, and maybe we can have some conversations and see what we can do about bringing some of our military neighbors onto the property and do something really special. I know the high school is a crown jewel for this community. What can we do to bring some of the families onto the track and onto the site, just to have some fun, whether it's movie night or something like that. So these are the things that are swirling in my head. This is something that obviously, as the owners invest, more people are going to be coming into this community, but it is in this community, and my view is, and I think the ownership's view is, when there are some opportunities, it should be a community jewel for the community as well. And we should be able to do some fun things. In a previous project I was working on, one of the previous projects I was working on was a major studio renovation down in Los Angeles. And it was a similar issue, right? You have these studios that are walled off. The community gets to look over the studio walls, and people have lived in the community for 50, 60 years and never once set foot on the studio lot. And what we did with the new ownership was open up the studio doors for the community, and had some really fun, and continue to have some really fun community events. And it just changed the dialogue, and it changed the interaction between the community and this big piece of property. And I think that we have some opportunities to do that here.
I think it's really important, because obviously not all of racing, but a lot of the car thing is an expensive sport. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be exclusive from who's around it. And not to pat ourselves on the back, but Rick, who runs the track, sent me, let me just give you some things we're already doing so they can get the word out. we've given money to Kern County School District to fund the purchase of food to stock the opening of the food pantry. We are, Rick and others have joined supporting events at the Rotary Club. We have a relationship now with Rosamond Fire Station 15 and have hired and trained a number of local firefighters to staff the fire rescue for events. As we do more events, we should have more of that opportunity. We're hosting an appreciation day in July for the Sheriff's Department and California Highway Patrol. And then we have a relationship with Los Angeles to provide support to programs for underprivileged students, including access to the tracks and facilities, and provide driving instruction and activities, donating equipment. And then we also have a relationship with the military base at China Lakes, providing training and employment opportunities to enlisted men and women on our course control team. And there's 28 full-time employees now at Willow Springs and 25 part-time, which should only grow. So not only trying to be inclusive, but also like if we grow this, it actually provides good jobs and other opportunities for people out here.
Was there any plans, it's great when you guys like have the weekend events and stuff like that, but what's sad is they all come to the event and they have to go to Lancaster to stay in hotels and stuff like that. Is there any plans of partnering with anybody to see if we get some, some higher end hotels?
That would be part of the longer term, and I think we'll be able to talk a lot more about that in 6 or 7 months. It hasn't gone unnoticed.
Okay.
I mean, part of the problem is bringing people, it's like, a lot of people don't even want to stay in Lancaster, so it's all the way back to LA, so it's just a drive in, drive out, which doesn't, I mean, it's hard because you come up here for 2 days, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it's on the radar.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So Reimagine last year was awesome. I mean, huge turnout. Terrible for town as far as parking goes, ruined our streets for hours. In the best way possible. I mean, obviously these kinds of things happen, this is learning. What do we have plans to like maybe improve on that infrastructure? Or what are we gonna do to help, like, and how can we help with that?
Let's discuss that because we are doing it again. And I wasn't aware of that. But I was sort of still I was trying to get my head wrapped around it, but I think I talked to Eric and get to us and we should be, I mean, we gotta start planning it now, so we can understand it and see how we can coordinate better.
And that's the exact type of feedback I'll say that I'm looking for, but also the city's looking for in the long term. To plan this right, we've got to plan for the long term. And again, you all know the impacts and what happens and what has happened historically better than me. And so, if you're giving us that information, the better that David and his team can plan.
For
how to accommodate this.
5 or 10 years from now, and even next year, and that was the first time.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
this is all.
I mean, it's sold out in a
It's
matter of
wild.
hours. My understanding is you posted the tickets and it sold out within like 3 or 4 hours.
It sold out like 3 hours.
That's pretty good.
They're good problems to have.
It's very exciting, right?
So you mentioned you have 28 full-timers, roughly 25 part-timers. What does that look like in 5 or 10 years? Like, what's the hope? Like,
Wow, that's really sad.
I'm really bad.
I would be surprised if that's not 4 times.
Okay. Commitment to local hiring. I mean, we have a
Hiring, what are the job fairs and those kind of things, so we can all get,
Is there any kind of program that we can maybe partner with as far as like one of the local colleges or the high school for jobs for kids?
It's something that we've internally been talking about. We would love to begin having those conversations with the principal at the high school and the superintendent. My understanding in talking to Karen is that there's an auto shop in Welding already in the high school, and some of these trades really are germane to what's going on in the track, and we would love to see whether we might be able to create some opportunities for those students, hands-on opportunities.
And to add a comment to that, the superintendent, they're doing a lot of work with that, their auto club, their auto shop there, it's gonna be first rate. So I think with the newness of them, and the newness of you folks, if you guys are kind of leading the way, I think that'd be wonderful, because the other part about it, look how the industry's going as far as the race industry's going. It's probably been more on TV lately, and it's going to poor people. Actually, you brought up the Formula One drivers. We didn't talk Formula One 10 years ago. So now you're talking about all this here, so I think if you get in touch with the superintendent, now I think it'd be a good time, because you guys are moving forward, and they're building new buildings as we speak. They got plans for that. And I guess you guys would kind of intersect together.
And just a little bit of, and I think, David, you can talk about it a little bit further, the Singer, which is a LA-based Porsche remodeler. What they do is they take Porsches and they soup them up. So there may be opportunities there as well, just to your
If
point.
you need someone to test one for a while,
So I also want to say,
I've done it a few times around the track. It's not my deal. It was really scary. Yeah. You can get going really fast.
so thank you for the pantry donation. I was aware of that. Ms. Gaines let me know that last month that you guys had seeded that. Thank you a lot for that. My kids go to school here. I mean, I went to school here. You know, this is a town. That's what matters to us. I do have another question about like local jobs though, because I've worked in facilities like this. I did catering at the Ronald Reagan Library. I was in charge of food services for pharmacy insurance for the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena and for Pasadena City College. And I know that, like for events, that temp labor is where it lives. I also know that temp labor is typically hired through apps and recruiters, and they can come from as far away as San Diego. Is there a way that we can, I mean, do we have plans to kind of counteract that? To make sure that we're getting high school kids in and college kids from Roseman and Lancaster and Albany, not just generic people that have signed up for extra gigs.
And I think that, again, I think that's great. That's great feedback and something that I would love to be able to have conversations so that, you know, we might be able to start identifying those local hires for different events. I think, you know, quite frankly, one of the issues that folks have is they just don't know that there is a workforce for whether it's security, whether it's you know tables, you know rental supplies, etc. So I know you mentioned that your wife is chair of the Chamber of Commerce. I don't know whether that's a conversation with the Chamber of Commerce about whether you know we might be able to come up with some sort of a directory so that when there is special events, we can actually say, here's the stuff that can be sourced.
And then two more questions and I'm done, I promise. And so, like, other than this meeting or even official meetings, is there a process you guys have or are currently going to put together to take community input outside of just official meetings? You know,
You can do small group, or you can put it over very fast.
and I think I'm
I just want to
actually.
get a little further. I think I want to get a little further. I don't like to sit here and just talk like, oh, well, this is this, and, you know, but I like having something substantive helps. It sharpens everybody.
Yeah.
Let me get there, and then we can have some more discussion.
Okay. And then the last thing is through the budgeting processes and everything that comes along with that, how can we as a board help? Are there letters of support that we can write to the board of supervisors to help you at all? Or anything along those lines, please let us know through either myself or Karen, and we can always do anything like that to help.
We appreciate that, and again, when we have those projects that need approvals from the county, not only will we be coming to you early and having conversations about those and working with you to massage these so that they work not only for ownership but also for the community, so that you can tell us, hey, when you know if you have this we're just concerned about parking or you know being able to get people on and off, etc. So you'll be hearing from us, and we'll have, I'm sure, many of those requests over.
Yeah. That sounds good.
I would say again, this is like a 5 to 10 year process. It's a big undertaking, so we'll be here.
And just a little bit about these images. This is, of course, as David mentioned, this is kind of some of the track design that David Willow track design. The second to last image is the renovated clubhouse, the exterior and kind of the design aesthetic. The other 3 images are current buildings that have been remodeled and redecorated, and so you can kind of see the direction in which the racetrack is going and kind of the aesthetic of the community.
Any other questions, guys? Maybe? Well, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
This is exciting. So yeah, my first job was at Willow Springs. I don't think you messed around there. That's incredible to have that. I'm looking very much forward to more conversations with Willow Springs. Now we're on a new business, which I'm incredibly excited about, because we've not done anything for new business in like a year and a half. It is in the middle of their budgeting process for next year, and this is our time to speak to that and to get our input for the community. I have letters that I've pre-written, so this is for us, right? For things that I think matter. You know, Roseland's giving you 20,000 residents. We've never had a dedicated county budget line for parks, recreations, or service transport. You know, there's just no predictable path for things in Roseland typically, other than like one-time funding, and that's drying up. So I've written letters here, and I've identified 8 things: a dedicated parks and rec budget line, a 5-year parks expansion plan, a dedicated road transportation maintenance line, a school zone public safety infrastructure. I'm asking them to come in and take a look again at how everything's working around our schools, lighting, stripes, you know, all of that good stuff, signage, beacons, crosswalk markings. I'd also think that it would benefit our town if we were to ask for a Southeast Kern-based sheriff and fire explorers programs, so our kids aren't being forced to either go to Bakersfield or into LA County. Joel had brought up maybe asking the county if they're interested in doing a cardboard recycling pilot program. There were some.
I got an update on that.
Yeah,
that got resolved.
It got resolved, but it's something like this would still be nice. I mean, but we can take it off if it's already been resolved. But the idea was that it's like almost a 30-mile round trip to up with that, and to have people just take cardboard back is a little bit unreasonable. But there was a miscommunication, and cardboard was turned away on Saturday at the bulky turn-in. But it won't be next time.
No, we got resolved.
So good. I will take that off then. I would like to ask for Roseland to have a biannual hazardous waste collection ourselves, maybe twice a year, every 6 months. And then.
I don't have a copy of that.
Oh, and then, so here's this. And then there's the letters. Joel has also brought up that the roadside weeds are getting high. Some places are as tall as he is, 6 feet tall. We would like the county to take a look at that, having Public Works or whatever department roads clear the weeds off the side of the road, maybe on some of the unpaved communities that we have here in town. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and say, you know, we do the best we can, we cut our weeds, but there's tons of open plots that nobody's cutting, and they're just asking for some kind of help or relief. And then I also am going to ask for year-round school zone and bus stop enforcement intermittently. I mean, anyone who's ever driven down Roseland Boulevard now, I imagine it's bad everywhere, but man, it's super bad here. Just people fly by the buses. There's no such thing as school zones here in Roseland. I've never seen anyone go. If you go 35 in front of the high school, you're going to get ran over on your car. You're when you're off the road. When I was a kid, we had an officer from Roseland who was very good at that. We joked that he ticketed my entire senior class, but we didn't speed in front of the high school. So that's the first topic and the first one. So now it's to you guys. What do you guys think about asking for that? What on there do we not want to see? What do you think is unnecessary, or what we can have added to it? And
The only thing I want to add to that, and I thought it was in there, is I usually go up every year and speak in person in front of the board just to keep the community in their minds. I would just like to add on there that I'd be glad to go up and represent RMAC in front of the board and bring up some other issues and stuff like that.
okay, you know what? So we have a process for that now that we have a full board. So let's vote on this one first.
Mr. Chair, quick question.
Yes.
Joe brought up another concerns. I think we need to be careful. If we're gonna express a concern, it's all universal across the board. We can't have, you take our 5, then he has a few in there. We need to know, like, some of this stuff, first time we're seeing it, it's good stuff, but we need to have a procedure where we all see, not the first time that we're gonna vote on something, number one. And Joe goes up there he's well qualified to go up there, but ensure that when he goes over there, these are all things that we have looked at as a board. And not added to as a board, as a board of one, because that's where the continuity comes in with all of us supporting it. Even if we don't support it, we need a unified front, either or.
Yeah.
So like I said, I like the fact that Joe goes up there because he's very articulate and expressing points and concerns, but we need to ensure that the things that he goes to discuss up there, there's nothing added to it that we have not discussed as a board on.
That makes a lot of sense to me. So what I think you're saying is that we obviously, any of us can go up and speak at the board on our own at any time. We don't have to speak on behalf of each other. I think you're right. Maybe for I don't
Yeah,
know.
no, I like the idea of everyone
when
give the
Joel
voice
speak,
out.
I think this would be us advocating for
Yes.
us.
Yes,
But Joel, I would highly recommend you go up there and speak. You know, and then next time.
but if something gets added to it, we all need to understand that that's either Joe speaking or the council speaking, because again, that's how we get snafus, because again, we're speaking as a voice of one to get the idea presented. Thank you.
I like that. Okay, well, is anyone interested in putting forward a motion for this?
I have a question about we're talking about making improvements on Williford Park.
Yeah, we're not there yet, but.
Okay, why don't you let me know when we go.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, that's, I think it's like the third.
Okay.
What do you think? Well, I can't make a motion. Would anyone like to put in a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that the concerns that we have to be, not concerns, but the items to be added for consideration for the supervisor, for the county board, for the budgetary issues here, that we send them up with our, asking the supervisor to look at them and add them to the county budget.
So, Director Weber, are you talking the letter as written minus number 6?
See, which one is number 6?
It's the cardboard pilot program. We don't need that if we got that fixed. I think.
Okay, well, we're gonna do that here, so we'll amend it to include items 1 through 5 with the elimination 6 has been resolved, yes, sir.
And then 7 through 9?
Mine aren't numbers, so I don't know which ones here. Okay, so the motion I have is that we go through with submitting a letter to support items 9, 8, 7, eliminate 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For, consideration for the supervisor to have added to the county budget.
Do we have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstains? Good to go. We will be sending our first official budget request letter on behalf of the Rosen community, and I will send that out tomorrow morning. Okay? Thank you. All right, B is, item B on it. The signal lights at United Street and 15th Street, they currently operate on protected left turn arrows at all times of the day and night. That means at 2 a.m. in the morning or a Sunday morning, you sit at a red arrow for several minutes. Sometimes it could be seconds, other times it could be several minutes. For no real reason, there's no cars coming the other way. So what I would like to do is I would ask County Works to take a look at that and institute time of day plan switching so that it only becomes protected during rush hour traffic, not the rest of the day. I believe what's happening is that nobody stops anyways, and it's just deteriorates the idea of them stopping for the light. And that's 4B. Any thoughts on that?
Are you proposing
That we send a letter to the supervisor's office, and that he would then advocate on behalf of the county and public works to make that change to those lights.
So I have a question for you, I'm sorry. Finish your thought, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I have a question. Does this require a letter, could we just ask Karen and ask Rose to go out and take a look at it? Or does this require a formal process?
I was told to write letters to the supervisor's office or anything that would be on the agenda from my council. But
Okay, so every time that becomes cumbersome. Every time we do something, so we just can't ask Karen, can she have someone from Rhodes ask, because they may tell you it's not gonna happen. But do we need a letter to say it's not gonna happen?
So, if I could, I believe under the circumstances for the traffic light, that we might be able to submit something on the My Current app, because it's a problem that roads could easily address.
Yes.
I don't want to discourage you from, sending the letter to the supervisor's office.
no, but that makes perfect sense. That's what I'm
If
here
it's something mechanical that could be adjusted then we could certainly request it on the MyKern app, and if it's something that they do not, for whatever, I don't know what the regulations are actually surrounding that. Maybe there's something else that has to be done, but at least that's a place to start, it's
Okay.
proactive. But again, I certainly don't want to discourage you from sending letters to the supervisor's office.
So, Dirk, with what you said though, you can certainly call and ask Karen or County Works to do whatever you want. And if you think that's maybe what we should do first, I actually think that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, at some point, every time we ask something, we're gonna have 40 letters. But if we can use the app to go get it done, number
Agreed.
one. And number two, we go over here, and then if we go over here and just start writing letters all the time, now the other thing, we have to keep track of all the letters.
So that's fair, so, I mean, maybe maybe we don't do this and we do the app first.
Well, we
and
can
then if
track
anything
and see
happens,
what the app gets
then we
us.
escalate later.
And then, yeah, work back from that, perhaps.
I like that.
I think matters of policy would definitely need to go to the supervisor's office, but matters of day-to-day maintenance
Yeah,
would
there we
certainly
go.
be
Okay.
submitted via the MyKern app.
Yeah.
You can do it if you want, or if you want, you can send me the location and I'll come take pictures and give me a description of the problem that you're experiencing, and I can submit it on your behalf. But any Kern County citizen is welcome to use the MyKern app and submit it to whichever department would cover the particular problem.
You know, one of the things that worked good for the first 6 months when I got on the board, my vision for this board was everybody if you're passionate about parks, take the lead, build those relationships with county parks people, public safety, build those relationships, roads, build those relationships. Everybody pick an area that they're passionate about and build those relationships, so when we have issues, we can call you, say in parks, let's say we're having an issue in parks, we can call Dave and say, Dave, hey, can you get a hold of your contact in parks and see what we can do, because you're building those relationships. That was my vision when I first got on the board, and something I would like to maybe future, once you guys get your feet wet and get more acclimated to what the process is maybe look at doing something like that where everybody takes a kind of a leadership role and over a county department and build those relationships.
So before we go further, can I make a motion that we table item 4B until we see how the app thing plays out?
I wasn't even asked for a motion for it.
Okay.
Yeah, just because I think you're correct, I think you're 100% correct in that.
We'll just
I think
table
between you and
4B.
Karen, I am convinced.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, alright. 4C is the Jim Williford Park priorities. It is slated for them to make improvements here coming up. But they've not been finalized, is my understanding?
I don't wanna make, an official comment on that because I'm not sure exactly where they are in the
Okay,
Fine.
so that makes, I like that. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Without having the report in front of me, it's hard for me to say exactly where they are.
Okay, so since we're unsure where they are, I would like to actually have an input on that. If we maybe write a letter again, what I'm recommending is we're asking that we send a letter to the supervisor's office for him to forward to Parks. The community shared with us through Facebook posts and in our communications. Playground equipment upgrades, they've not been upgraded since I was 8 years old. That was when they were installed. I'm 41 next week. Basketball is also has never been resurfaced since I was 8. And there's very little shade structures and seating. People have been asking for a pickleball court, which is what I think they've already kind of leaned towards.
So all of the points that you're making in that are things that will be addressed within the Parks plan. But again, I can't say officially where they are within the design phase and within the funding phase and all of the different steps that the county has to take to make those things happen.
Question. I don't see an upgrade to the bathrooms.
Well, that's part of the plan.
Well, it's not in this.
No.
Okay, well,
This is for us.
the document that you're looking at is from RMAC.
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is what
the-
what I put
Okay,
together.
well, I don't know about the
It's okay,
bathrooms.
that's what I'm trying to say, I don't have stuck in my mind exactly where we are with all of the planning that goes into making the refurbishment to the park. But I can certainly find out and bring a report to the next meeting if you like.
Yeah, because the bathrooms are really bad.
Yes, I understand, but again, these are things that are in process, but I can't address it officially because I don't have it.
Splash pad, water fountains with the pet and water attachments, improved lighting, and outdoor workout equipment. And then people have asked about a dog run. So what we're wondering is if you guys are interested in sending a letter on behalf of to Parks Department to see if we can get all of those things included. Sounds like most of them already will be, which is perfect. But I mean, you don't know. But you had something you wanted to say about the park.
Yeah, I think that when we talk about making these improvements, and I think those are great, and they're probably long overdue. I have to admit, I spent a lot of time at Jim Wilford Park, but when I had a person that had heard that I was gonna be on the RMAC committee, and I got an email today with a lot of pictures of Jim Wilford Park. And they were a little concerning, there was a lot of trash just all over. The bathrooms were were not maintained, things like that. Now, also, you're talking about upgrades and things like that, but we think that it's important for also including that some kind of infrastructure to maintain and keep that to where it needs to be, because if we put all this new stuff in there and it doesn't get taken care of, it just, we just have a nice park for a little while. So is there some, I don't know if that's in the plan or not, but some kind of way, to where we can have some kind of infrastructure to where somebody is there to take care of it when it needs to be taken care of. Things like clean the bathroom, stuff like that.
Right, and that is something that I believe, is under contract for the park, and that is an issue that I will take up.
It's currently under contract?
There should be, someone coming in to maintain the park, maintain the bathrooms, and.
Just by the pictures I saw, it didn't look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges that we have in East Kern is that we're so far removed from Bakersfield that sometimes it takes us stomping our foot and saying, get over here and fix this. Get over here and make sure that these contractors are doing the work that they're supposed to be doing. So having this communication is important to making sure that we're headed down the path to get that done.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
prior to our meeting, Karen and I had that conversation of holding people accountable for.
Right.
Yeah, making sure that whatever we're paying people to maintain, that it gets done.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about potentially rangers. Can you give us an update on those kind of conversations you had?
They're, from what I understand, they're in the process of hiring. They just another big hiring, and last I heard they only had like 20 rangers, and once again, with that 20, like I said, trying to get somebody out here to eat, we're just so far removed until they build up their force. We're not gonna. I just don't think we're gonna get a dedicated ranger. And one of the things I was working with District 2 office on, talking with them, is not being selfish and asking for a ranger for Roseman, but maybe an East Kern ranger that we share with Tehachapi, Boron, North Edwards, Boron, and Roseman. And so I guess a little something's better than nothing.
Right.
So if there was an issue, let's say they're in their Boron, we have an issue over here, they're not coming from Bakersfield, if the sheriffs are tied up, they're a lot closer already being in the east. So that would be my goal, was to eventually see if we can get an East Kern ranger for the whole area.
So I mean, I guess we're at the place. Rick Webb, what do you think? I mean, do we even? It sounds like we might not need to send a letter.
Well, what I would ask to make sure we keep Karen safe here is that let her find out. We could table it if we still, I would send a letter back, but she says a lot of this could be already in motion. So get her a chance to look at her notes, report back to you, and you can let us know. That way, we don't want a letter circulating around.
No, I like that.
Yeah, we could do that. The other thing I would add too is that I think since we now have a full board, I think we should get together and have a little summit so we can kind of see where we're all headed. And then we can invite Karen, she can let her know that what she can do for us, because it sounds like we're gonna be creating a whole bunch of work for her at some
Well,
point.
we don't do that either, so.
So before you do something like that, you need to consult with county council.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that it sounds, we got a lot of moving parts here.
Yes.
And all these moving parts, it's creating more work, like I'm saying.
And it's okay, I don't mind that you're creating more work, that's why I'm here. But my concern is that if the five of you meet offline, so to speak,
No, we would have a special meeting. But-
Okay,
But
alright.
what I'm saying,
Making sure.
I know how to have the meeting, what I'm saying, we're asking for a lot before we get the direction we're headed, because we have 2 new board members. A lot of this stuff may be kind of new to him. He brought up things that he notes that he had, that the chair didn't have, that would probably be good with the notes that you have, to make it better for everybody involved here. That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Sure.
So do you think that it would be prudent for us to just put that on the next agenda to
I think we
revisit
should
that?
add it to the table.
Probably table that one, 4C. I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we table 4C until our next meeting, and that gives us a chance to get some follow-up and some insight, then we could always bring it back to the agenda for a vote.
I think that's great. Second?
Is there a meeting next month?
Yeah.
Because on the website, it said it was canceled.
That was last.
Last August. Oh, that was a year ago?
Yeah.
It just said August.
Do we have a second to table this?
Second.
Any opposed?
So real quick on what Rick was saying. I don't think I've been told no that many times when I've called up to Bakersfield, building relationships. Once we build relationships, and I always, the big thing, if you have a conversation with a department head and you ask for something, just CC Karen. It's kind of embarrassing if she's in a meeting and they bring up something and she doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
I'm horrible about that sometimes.
but
That's why Joel do everything now.
So, but no, a lot of times I can pick up the phone, I'll call Karen, hey, do you want me to handle it? And I've built those relationships over the years with different department heads, so, once you guys get to that level, a lot of the stuff that, like I said, we can handle, just like Karen know, hey, we're handling it, this is what we've done, who we reached out to.
Karen, while we're on that, can you arrange a Brown Act training for us?
Probably.
Thank you, Ben.
Your 2 new board members need to do their.
I think we're all.
I think we're all, I mean, Rick might not be, but I'm pretty sure I'm expired too.
Yeah, I'm expired.
Get on it, dude.
Alright, 4D, mail theft. We've talked about this a lot. It's a federal engagement request. Mail theft is a persistent and documented problem in Roseman and surrounding unincorporated communities. Residents have reported stolen packages, rifled mailboxes, the theft of checks, and financial documents. Mail theft is a federal offense under the jurisdiction of the United States Postal Inspection Service. This item is what it would authorize a formal request to Congressman Fong's office urging coordination between the U.S. Postal Service Inspection Services and the King County Sheriff's Office to prioritize enforcement in the Roseman area. The reason I did this, I think it's important, is because it's not just the inconvenience. Identity theft and fraud can take years to resolve. I personally one time actually busted a mail theft ring in Reno. It was like 400,000 pieces of mail.
Ooh.
It was crazy. But I've seen how bad it can get. This is within our purview to ask Supervisor Parlier to forward a letter on our behalf to Congressman Fong's office. I mean, Congressman Fong is very aware of our community. So I think this is a good idea, but I would like your guys' opinions on it.
I'm okay. One of the things on this too, I was reaching out to the postmaster, and I think she has a lot of health issues, and I went over there a couple weeks ago, and she's out again. She has secured mailboxes that she can have installed here in Roseman, but doesn't have the money to have the pads put down. So I wanting to follow up with her again on that.
What does that mean, the pads?
There's like
concrete
a
pads?
4x8 cement pad that they're in. So she has the mailboxes, but just not the funds to have the cement pads put down. So, and the county, I reached
Do
out
you
to.
know how many pads it is?
No.
Probably 75.
And I reached out to the county, and the county said no, they wouldn't do it.
So let's write Congressman Fong's office for that.
So we have the materials to put them
Mm-hmm.
in, but not the funds to install them?
You know, it's just probably to me, it's just probably putting some 2x4s down and then getting the cement that you have wired to.
Okay, Joe, you make me mad, actually.
Pretty sure it's a little more complicated than building a 4x4 frame.
Oh, no.
If Joel can do that, I'm installing my own speed
Nice
bumps.
idea, but the last time I checked, none of us are engineers.
Well, what I'm questioning is, we somebody purchased all the boxes, but nobody can put them in.
Yeah, the post office, I guess, purchased the boxes, but they don't have the
So
means to put them in.
somebody bought the materials but didn't.
Yeah.
Welcome to
can't
government,
install
sir.
That's the federal government for you.
The letter to Congressman.
Is this going out?
Big tape. So with that said, then I would actually like to rewrite the letter to include that line that we have been told that there are boxes available to be installed with no money to install them, and ask for help with that.
You probably want to confirm that first.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Well, here's a question we're gonna run into.
What's the cost?
Is that a contracted issue? Because if you do that, that means does labor people get first right to that? Is that the federal type contract? And so, yeah, there you go, prevailing wage. So I think we should find out their protocol. Still ask, can they help us with this? But find out the protocol, because, for example, they're gonna say, yeah, we need $100,000, but 100,000 prevailing wage is 150,000.
Yeah, big difference.
So are you proposing that what we do is find out what the cost to install one of these?
No. We can still ask them to help us with it, but stay away from about telling we have the problem here and we need to get them installed, and can they help facilitate that? Because if you go over and start talking about getting them installed, like I said, we don't know the background, like the prevailing wage issue. I'm sure it's a prevailing wage issue.
It's probably gonna be prevailing wage.
Yeah, but I
Even
would
with
say,
a contract?
tell them we need help with it.
Even with a contract?
That's federal government, yeah. Any government contract's prevailing wage.
Okay.
Okay, so, Director Webb, what do you think then if I do add that, like, any assistance possible, including installation of anti-theft boxes?
Yeah, just tell them that, you know what, we're having a problem, and anything that his office can do to help us to, facilitate getting them installed, getting them installed or whatnot, to make life better for the folks here. Because, you talk about mail theft, we don't think about it, but if you have to come to the post office every day, and you have a disability, that becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned something talking to Matt Bauer regarding this issue we've been discussing over the past when we've been having issues, is the post office is federal, but it's not federally funded. They're self-funded.
That's why the stamps keep going up.
Yeah.
Would you like to make a motion for that?
Well, also, are these boxes that they have, are they going to resolve the problem of mail theft? How do we know that?
It's not, because they're cutting the
whole thing. I mean, no. Like that's the reality.
So we could go through and get all this done and it doesn't solve the problem.
Potentially.
So do we have a way to see if that's gonna resolve the problem before we go through all the trouble of getting them, jumping through all the hoops of getting them replaced?
I mean, the mail issue, I think do a letter and suggest maybe more secure P.O. boxes, but ask and see what other help's available.
Kind of throw a wide net. But I understand what you're saying. I don't want to throw a wide net to something that's ineffective and gonna waste money.
Yeah, I get it. And, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, so we put boxes in there, they just got the backs off.
So I guess my only answer to that would be that our purview. We don't make decisions here, so that's not really our concern.
Would that also affect the mailboxes in, let's say, apartment complex?
Potentially, I mean, I don't know how that works.
How are the rural boxes?
The rural boxes, maybe the clusters in neighborhoods. I could ask that too. Like, do you know people that are having that problem in like the apartment complex too?
We just, mail theft is just
Everything.
Yeah. So I just kind of feel for those who got that mail theft. It's like we can prevent it from all sorts of living areas like apartments to houses.
We communicate that to them.
Yeah.
We have apartments that are reporting mail theft, and then we just put that out there, and then we let the people who report to make the decisions.
Right.
I think that's fair. But man, I understand what you're saying, because like every part
I
of me.
just hate to go through all this and then, and then the Fong's office says, well, we did this. And why did you have us do that if it didn't work? Because we're the ones that are lobbying to get that done. So I just wanna make sure that it's gonna be something that's gonna be effective.
Yeah, I think
Or at least we think it's gonna be effective.
Well, it's the fix they're pitching. I guess is it kind of doesn't mean that it's right, it's gonna work, but it's the only thing it's what they're offering.
Okay.
That's my thought. I understand, because I'm in the same boat. I don't know.
I just think if you're gonna do all that work, you need to make sure it's gonna have some kind of positive.
Well, I can include that too. I can ask for you know, how their test data went on that. I can ask if they have test data showing that to be effective. We can include all that in the letter.
Yeah.
And before, you know.
It would just be good to know.
So
I think
basically,
we're nice to have.
yeah, we're just bringing the problem of mail theft to his attention, and we need some solutions. We need some help to solve the problem.
So I don't have to even put in necessarily the boxes because they know the boxes are here.
Okay.
I'll just put that we need help and leave it to them to try to determine what that looks like.
To assist the federal government in putting in their mailboxes.
I know, man, you're really late. The libertarian in me is like.
I'll make a motion that we.
Okay, any second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright.
Passes. I will send that out tomorrow morning as well. And when I send these, I will BCC them to everybody on the board so you guys can see exactly what I've sent. Okay. All right, 4E was the 4th of July after action report request. The use of Google fireworks and unincorporated Rosemont during the 4th of July period is a documented recurring fire safety concern. East Current experienced this year significant fire activity in the weeks leading up to the holiday, making enforcement incredibly important. This item would request a formal action after action report from the Kern County Sheriff's Office and the Kern County Fire Department covering enforcement activity and any incidents that they experienced here. The reason why is it creates accountability for one, but and a record, but it opens a conversation for us to ask how to help. I think that's the most important thing is how do we help the fire department in their outreach in the run up to the 4th of July event? How do we help the Sheriff's Office with their enforcement on that? And if I hear a lot of people complain about it. I mean, obviously my house shook until 4 o'clock in the morning like everyone else's. But just my thoughts, you know. Any thoughts on that? Share them. That's what you're here for.
Well, I think that, when, public awareness, right? That's the best thing to do, is let people know that, the situation we're in, as far as fire safety and things like that go. I know that when I preach, I talk to my congregation about illegal fireworks, letting them know, it all sounds like fun until somebody, catches somebody else's house on fire. And the situation that we find ourselves in, usually this time of year, is one to where, we have fires without fireworks. So just public awareness, just letting them know that, how serious it is.
I would say they may already do them, so if they have them, that we have
Ask
a
for the
copy of,
copy.
instead of wanting a formal after action. Because the way it reads here, we're asking them to do one, I just ask if they have a copy of, they forward them to us.
I assume they have something for the region.
Yeah, well,
So, or the area.
that's what because from a deployment standpoint, but I think it's good to have because the other thing, during the 4th of July, they were blowing up stuff out there. That wasn't a normal firecracker.
No, it was insane.
When you have the alarms go off 5 blocks away, that's not a normal firecracker.
No.
So I think that's a good one to make the request here.
What do you guys want? Anyone want to go put that motion forward?
So
Lamar.
So also you have the motion, right? Yeah. Pastor have the motion. Who have the second?
Lamar.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. I will ask for that. Karen, do you know before I ask for one if they already provide one an after action report for 4th of July? The fire department?
Not that I'm aware of. Yeah,
I'm gonna ask for it.
yeah. I mean, we could certainly ask, but I'm not aware of any kind of, it varies from station to station, I'm sure.
Perfect. All right, so the last item is the mobile health clinic. I am not going to vote on this. I'm going to abstain. The reason why is because I'm asking for them to reestablish quarterly mobile health clinic appointments at Roseman, utilizing both the library as well as the Roseman Hill Senior Apartment. The reason I'm going to abstain from that is because I do serve on that board as well and the vice president of that board. But I do think it's important when the health bus used to come to Roseman monthly. Then it was every 3 months or 2 months, and now it's like every couple of years. I think it's super important in a community like ours. We don't have a lot of primary care options, even though Adventist does do primary care next to Albertsons. I just figured that out. With that said, I would work with, we could build partnerships with the chamber, the school district, and RCSD to raise awareness. And if they were to bring, if it shows need, they could potentially expand that. I don't know that they'll do it, but I think it's worth asking.
Let me ask you a question, sir.
Mm-hmm.
You said you sit on the board, right? Why aren't we getting the service? Why aren't we getting the service? If you're a board member, is there a financial issue, a financial reason why we aren't getting the service down here?
No, I'm on the board of the Roseman Hill Senior Apartments.
Oh, okay, I thought you would know, I thought you said go.
I wish I would sit on this board.
No, I'm sorry. I was saying, is there a real board? Yeah, okay, sorry, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's a real board though. So
Yeah, I know, that's why I was saying, if you tell the board, maybe you could tell us about it.
Just go tell. That's so funny.
Is that sweat you're wiping off on the ground?
Dude, it's
Your hair.
You know,
So what's the downside to that? I mean, it just sounds like something that, you know, is
I don't think there is any downside. The only thing they can tell us is no, which means we wouldn't get the service we already don't get. And if they do, when they used to be monthly, they used to set up across the street from my house, and all day long I would watch lines outside that thing. They got used. I don't know if just thought the usage stopped or if budget cuts just prevented it from coming all the way out here.
Can I
But
just call for the question?
You know, even before sending a letter, what I kind of taken a page out of Rick's book there is call and ask
Okay.
when they're up here. Because one of the things I'm finding, and reach out to Karen, and we do some homework, is some of the services we're asking for, they were providing, but nobody was showing up.
Yeah.
And if nobody shows up, we lose them. And that's why I try and preach to everybody. We get a service up here, let's use it. We got a Sharps container over by the library, we got to use it. I got a call and it said, hey, it'd been empty the last few months. We went over there to empty out, so I had to put another post on there. Oh, I forgot we had that over there. So we reach out, but I'd say we reach out to public health and just ask.
And ask first, and if we don't get anywhere, then we can escalate.
Yeah, ask for
whatever it takes.
Now's the time to do it because of the budget.
That's my thing. Is like some people like it might seem like why are we asking for all these things? Because it's the time. And we have one time a year where we're allowed to ask for whatever we want. We might as well.
Sir, can I make a motion on this one then?
Yep.
If Joe suggested that we call and ask, so my recommendation would be we call and ask, but also have the letter ready, so if we don't get the response back, we think we should have the letters ready to send.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So so we authorize the letter written but not transmitted until we get a response from
Yes, sir.
Okay, I like that. Second.
Second.
So 4 to.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do abstain. Make sure you
We don't vote on anything anyway, so.
Get it, guys. That's all of our new business for the meeting.
Kelly's happy.
Wonderful.
One thing before we go.
Yes.
The American Red Cross is going to be having a blood drive on the 30th from 9 o'clock to 2 in Mojave at the Vets Hall. It's being sponsored by the Soledad Mining Company, and it's at 15580 O Street, Mojave. So if you are a blood donor, I'd be happy to see you. I will be there as the ambassador, and I'm happy to take your blood, save lives, and fantastic thing. So yeah, if you're we're happy to see you. Thank you.
Lester, do you guys do double red blood cells too?
We do whole blood and we do power red. Power red allows us to accumulate or collect a larger quantity of blood cells. We actually draw from both arms, and what we do is we separate the plasma, reintroduce the plasma, and we keep all of that red gold that we have. We also, there's a nice promo, you get a Fandango movie pass if you donate blood, and that'll usually be done online too. And oftentimes we have t-shirts too, so yeah, coming out. We have snacks and good juice too.
We need a place to do that. We've done it in the past.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay, then what I will do is, I give you my card, if you
Yeah.
have one, I'll get yours, and then we'll talk, because I know that, our coordinator is always looking for places. We have a couple here in town that but I'm sure he'd be happy.
We have air conditioning and everything.
Perfect, all right, sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna move on to director comments. Director McKay.
Busy month. We did a senior bus charter to the casino. Seniors love that. I think all the seats were filled, pretty much.
There's a capacity of 56 and we have 51 riders.
Did you go on the bus too?
I did.
My mom, my dad, and two of my aunts were on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the other thing, we have the bulky waste days. So our RMAC DMs were blowing up. So I went over there with Lancaster, sales tax going on was 12%, price of gas. I'm lazy. I do everything online now. If I can't get it on Amazon, I don't need it. So I get a lot of cardboard over the quarter. So I got turned away. So I made some phone calls. It turns out it was miscommunication with waste management. County waste management got everything. So we're back to normal, back to taking all the normal stuff that we normally are able to dispose of on bulky waste.
Yeah, also, you got 12 pickups at your house each year.
Do what?
Roseman has 12 pickups free at your house for bulky items.
Yeah.
You just have to go on the website and ask for it.
Not everyone in Rosemont has waste management.
Well, everyone who has waste management.
Right, but not every area of Rosemont is covered by the waste management.
I'm just saying, you got 12 free pickups.
If you have waste
management.
That's all I've got.
Lamar,
Sir.
any director comments or referrals?
No, sir. Just kind of been more so just learning about everything I can possibly learn.
We'll get together.
My mind is a sponge, man. And definitely soaked up enough. Well, I
Thank you, Hanson.
Would this be an appropriate time for me to ask to put something on the agenda for
Yes.
next? Okay. I'd like to talk about, if we can, and I'm not really sure how that works, but the park over on Hook and United Park.
Yeah.
Is there something that, can we talk about that?
It's school property.
I know.
Yeah. No,
The school is represented here, right?
Yeah.
They're usually represented here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually Ms. Gaines is here. Yes, we can talk about that.
You know,
We have-
we're pretty geared up with AYSO and the Little League and the basketball league, and they're really dealing with a lot of shortages of place to play. I had one of the ladies in our church that goes, they had to take their kids to East Palmdale to play a Little League game. They didn't get home till 11 o'clock on a school night to play baseball. And it just seems that we have all this here, and I'm just interested in, you know, I don't know the what fors and the whys. We don't have a field there where that's available for the kids to play on.
agree with that.
Yeah, I live over there too. I know we've talked a lot about maybe some kind of working group with the county and the school district. Joel, have you gotten anywhere on that?
There's some things that I'm not at liberty to talk about.
Well, that's good. So yes, that's a concern that we would definitely keep working on, because I agree.
Yeah.
I live up there too. I mean, the school did this week, they replaced the fence that was knocked down.
Yeah, somebody drove through the fence.
Director Webb. A couple of things here. First of all, thank you folks for coming out for us. Karen, as always, thanks for being there for us, supplying us. I noticed we do not have Red Cross in our community reports. If we
It was
do
an
have-
oversight.
Okay, oversight, cool.
Yeah.
And now that we have a full board here, I would suggest that we look into developing some committees. That way, instead of one person doing all the lifting on everything, we can divide the workload up. So I would ask us to look into what committees we could have, maybe standing committees that we could work on, and so we could have things going into that. Because the other part about it is that if we're gonna go down the road we're going now from a tracking standpoint, I think a committee report should be a real good way to keep track of what we're gonna be reporting on. So thank you.
Rick, I love your idea of, and I'll reach out to Josh with County Council. If maybe we can set up a Brown Training Act, a special meeting, and have like a little summit, and discuss committees and stuff like that. Separate.
On the committees,
Yeah.
then you can only have two people.
Two weeks.
Yeah, I mean, we still check with them by all means. We can only have two people.
Right. No. What I'm saying though is maybe do it like a summit / Brown Act training,
Oh, yeah.
and be able to discuss all that.
Yeah, but that's all I have, so thank you.
Perfect, I got anything. Thank you guys for sitting here with us. We did some good business today. That is it.
Congratulations.
If we can get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.